What is going on, guys? Today I'm very excited to give you another update on Diamedica Therapeutics, ticker DMAC. The market cap sitting just under $350 million. The shares outstanding 51.69. That has been unchanged since our last video. Cash position just over $50 million, almost 21 months worth. And I love that the company doesn't really burn a lot of money. It's around 7 million a quarter, call it 2.5 a month. So very low cost just to keep the doors open, which I always think is really important. It's very difficult to get behind a company that needs 30, 40, 50 million every quarter and they're just burning through cash. So they have a lot of money on the books. They don't burn a lot, which is great. And if for some reason they needed to do something in the future, they do have an ATM with Cohen, which is a great institution, $100 million ATM. But again, I don't think that's necessary. Company has plenty of money. They don't have any excessive burn rate, which is fantastic. When we look at the holders, we see a lot of adding from the last rebalance. BlackRock adding around 2% of the company, which is huge. Vanguard adding to their position. All great signs to see more institutions taking part in this name. Now, also, when we look at the financials, just across the board, non-revenue company, very low burn, no debt on the balance sheets, which is great. And hopefully we have a path to profitability in the upcoming years. Now, as we take a look at the insider activity, one thing that I find very exciting, super intriguing, especially in this market. We are seeing every tech stock, every quantum stock, all of the large and mega caps are being dumped by insiders. The exact opposite is happening here with Diamedica DMAC. We're seeing a 10% owner adding a lot of stock in July and the end of August, buying at $5, $6 range, exactly where we gave it out. This is a lot of money. This is hundreds of thousands of shares, millions of dollars worth of purchasing. And I always say the best due diligence is insider buys. There is no one that has more knowledge than the insiders, the executives, the CEO. And when they're putting their hard-earned dollars back into the stock, that is a very positive sign for what's to come, especially considering we're in an environment where most CEOs are dumping stock and running away. You have a company here that is continuing to double down. And we look back just in July, this individual had about 6.7 million shares. He now has over 7.6 million. So between that time and now, he's added another million shares. So that's probably somewhere between $5 to $6 million worth of his own money. Already owns 10% of the company. Why continue to buy more? Clearly, he must know something. Now, again, this is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. I'm not telling you to buy or sell. I'm just sharing what is publicly available. We see the insiders have the most knowledge in the company. They're buying stock. They're confident. We're looking at a macro trend line break, which we'll talk about in a moment. Now, from what I've seen, there's multiple different websites that are going to show different percentages. Yahoo Finance shows that the insiders hold about 27% of the company. On Finviz, it says that they own around 52% of the company. So I'm not sure exactly the structure breakdown, but either way, insiders own a lot of stock. They do have a good chunk of that free circulating float, which I think is also great because it's showing you that they still have some control of the business. It's not that 99% is owned by institutions and the insiders have no control over the company, which I like also. And when we take a look at the performance here from year to date, it's up about 23%. The past year, it's up about 53%. So that's really great. Now, as we take a look at the forecast on the low end, it's $11 price target, which is over 63% upside. The median, $12, almost 80% upside. And the high end, $14, over 108% upside. This is absolutely fantastic. And I do believe this stock is poised to have massive growth in the upcoming years. Now, as we shift gears and take a look at the chart here, I want to start on the daily. If you look back to my last video, I want you to pay attention to what I said technically. And then the gap is above this hot range. So it is possible that we can see a retracement down to 640, fill that gap, grab the last remaining liquidity that's sitting in this range, and then send the stock higher. So from this point, we did exactly what I mentioned before. We had a really nice breakout of that monthly macro trend line. We then came back down, filled the gap here 3 trading days ago. It tapped 645, which again is just filling that liquidity. We see the previous top here back in August. It then breaks out September, now comes back down, uses that top or that resistance now hopefully as a floor. So again, here is resistance. We now have a breakout breakout of that trend. It's now coming back down, stabilizing, and we'd like to see some price action like that, where we could stabilize, use this $6.40 line as a floor. We got all that liquidity from the gap up here, and now we can continue higher. That is the goal. That is the plan from a technical perspective. Again, if everything remains constant, the company continues on its path, I think it should have clear skies to the upside. And especially when you zoom out, let's go on like a weekly or a monthly, you could really see break of this trend line here. So going all the way back from 2018, this has been pretty much in a downtrend, now breaking out of that 2025, 24, 23 high, which is really interesting that it's consolidating at a range it has not traded at in over 4 years. The last time Diamedica traded at this range, minus the beginning of the year, was all the way back in the beginning of 2021. Look at how low the volume was for this entire time. And then what do you notice as we start to get into the second half of 2024, beginning of 25? That volume goes up tremendous, right? And we have not seen this type of volume when we go all the way back. Right? This is very, very high relative to the price action. So this is all healthy signs. And what I'm seeing is macro accumulation. And we are seeing the writing on the wall from the insider perspective here of purchasing stock. So my big level here, just to let's say continue the uptrend, would be $7.50. Okay, very simple to the point. After that, 8.50 just for the whole number, psychological value. And then I just want to take a look at that 2021 high, 10.90, $11. Okay, if we have a huge breakout, big news, and we see a massive rally upside, 8.50, 10.50, 10.88, and then the big level there, 13.77, which is that 2018 high, that 7-year high. Kind of do have a little bit of a bull flag pattern. It's not exact, it's not perfect, but it definitely does give, sort of that breakout and that flag. Now, again, if we do get a breakout, I'd love to see a breakout, a retest, and then a continuation higher on the daily. Overall, like I said, looks great, checks off all my boxes. Now, if you're invested in biotech stocks, let me know in the comments section below what names you hold, what names have been your biggest winners. I would love to hear from you guys. If you hold DMAX stock, would love to know your opinions and your thoughts on it going into 2026. Besides that, guys, have a fantastic day. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.